Welcome to Opposition Territory here at the Philadelphia Sports Table Podcast Show, the longest running weekly Philly sports podcast show in the world, just about 13 years. And on this Opposition Territory pod, we're going to be diving into the Boston Celtics. Yes, folks, one of the most surprising teams that we are watching in the NBA. And we've got a great guest, our good friend, Jack Simone, one of our favorite Celtics beat reporters. My friend, how you doing? Thanks for joining us, man.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me. Sorry it took me so long to get my schedule worked out. We were just
All
joking
good,
about
dude.
that before, but
All
excited
good,
to be
man.
here. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Look, we are all busy, and I know you are busy with one of your new positions. Why don't you let everybody know where you're at now?
Yeah, I mean, last time I was on the show, I think it was at Hardwood Houdini. I've
Yeah,
since moved to Boston Sports Journal. I'm their Celtics reporter. So I do
nice.
work over there now. I still make videos on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff, which is
Yep,
Jack Simone NBA. But my written work for the Celtics is now at Boston Sports Journal. So yeah,
nice,
thanks.
nice. Get those promos out of the way there, and you know why? Because this Celtics team is as much as I have this love-hate relationship with so many teams and so many cities in the world of sports. I got to tell you, this Celtics team is tremendous to watch. Like, as a basketball fan, it is amazing what this team has done throughout this 2025-2026 season, Jack. So, like, let's get into it because, we talk about that surprise. Everybody's talking about the surprise season for this team with Jayson Tatum being out with his Achilles injury for most of this year. It was just supposed to be like a bridge year, kind of a lost year in a way. But this group is contending. They are grinding. They've been doing it now for weeks and weeks and months and months. And I remember the last time we talked, Jack, there just wasn't a lot of optimism about where the Celtics year was going to go. So I'm wondering, like, what turned the tide, given the fact that Tatum missed the majority of the season on the court? And I guess what has been really the most surprising aspect of this team that has gotten them into this pretty damn good position?
Yeah, I mean, I think behind the scenes, I wrote a story for Boston Sports Journal that they've been like obsessing over film this year. Like
Yeah.
they'll go into every game and have a scouting report on every single player. And usually in the regular season, I talked to a couple guys. Luca Garza was saying how in past stops, like you'd only really dive that deep when there was like a Shea or a Luca or like a big player coming to town. But there have been points this season where Joe Mazzulla has come to the podium and say, "Yeah, we were ready for Brandon Williams 2-for-1 scoring at the end of quarters." Like they're just going like ridiculously in depth with the way they want to scout. There was a film session earlier this season that Xavier Tillman told me about that they kind of let the Celtics determine who was going to start and who was going to guard who on defense. Like Joe
Yeah.
Mazzulla was just like, Jalen's out tonight. Who's starting, guys? And
Yeah.
so it's been a very unique style of film. But outside of that, like obviously there's the Jalen Brown MVP season, which has been incredible. But in reality, I think the reason the Celtics have been able to have this much success is because they've just developed players that nobody expected to be this good. Like Nemish Queta went from not playing last year to top 15 center in the NBA. Like
With that
he's
exactly.
right there.
And it begs another question, though, too, as we're discussing this. Is it, and I don't want to take anything away from the coaching staff. I don't, because I think they've done a tremendous job, and we're going to get to that in a bit. Is part of this luck, or is this really the coaches are honing in on these players' traits that are truly transforming before our eyes here? Or is it maybe a little bit of both? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that there's inevitably a little bit of both, but I think the front office is really good at identifying talent, and I think the coaching
Yeah.
staff is really good at developing talent. Like, it's not just Kata. Kata's obviously had that big jump, but Baylor Shireman went from coming into the league last year as a rookie and, needing to lose a little bit of weight to now being one of the Celtics' most reliable defenders and elite
Right.
rebounder and plays 30 minutes a night sometimes. You've got Jordan Walsh, who was guarding some of the best players in the league. He played great against Maxey earlier this season, isn't really in the rotation right now, but you got a good 2-3 month stretch of him being and people were saying like, oh, let's see if he can get all defense. Like that's how good he was playing. And you got
Yeah.
the 28th pick in this year's draft, Hugo Gonzalez, who almost every other team in the NBA could have picked him. Like he was there. Everyone
Yes.
could have had him. But then the Celtics got him at 28, and now he looks like one of the steals of the draft. And then on top of all of that, Ron Harper Jr. is on a two-way contract, just scored
Right.
22 last night. Like
I know.
they just have guys. Like they are just really good at identifying this is what this guy is good at. This is how we can get the most out of him. Baylor Shireman's a great rebounder. Let's put him out there to help our defensive rebounding, which was last earlier in the season and is number one since like February.
Yeah.
Jordan Walsh is an elite, lengthy defender. Let's have him guard these quick guards and see if he can defend, the big men too. Ron Harper can shoot and put the ball on the floor. Let's put him in this position. Ugo Gonzalez is good at running full court and offensive rebounding. Let's put him in that position. Like, they're really good at like playing chess with all these great developmental pieces they have found. And now it looks like they just have a roster of seasoned guys when at the start of the year, everyone was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, what are they going to do? They have no depth. They
Right.
might have some of the best depth in the NBA now.
It's incredible. It really is. I seriously, you mentioned the Ron Harper Jr. 22 points last night. I saw the stat because I wasn't watching the game. I saw the stat and I was like, I threw up my hands. I'm like, you got to be kidding. Of course.
This is like, remember a
happens.
couple years ago when the Heat were like, oh, here's Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, and all these random
Yes.
guys? The Celtics are doing that now.
They absolutely are. But I really think it goes to the leadership on the team too. And we were talking about this on our regular show this past week. My co-host and I were talking about the differences between, Nick Nurse in Philadelphia, Joe Mazzulla in Boston. And I look at the Sixers team. I look at the constant stagnation, the status quo, and really what it comes down to, I think a lot of it is coaching, certainly talent, and certainly depth as well. But I think Nick Nurse is probably going to be out the door after this season. That's a topic for another time. But with Joe Mazzulla, it amazes me what he's been able to do with this team. It really does. How do you assess what he's done this season and the kind of coach that he's actually become this NBA season because of how things have gone too? I think that's kind of an underlying topic as well.
I think Joe Mazzulla never really got credit for the past 2 years because he had such a stacked roster.
Yeah.
When in reality, he was like pulling so many strings behind the scenes to make that roster work together in the best way. It was just a little bit easier. And now he's probably coach of the year. I mean, I'm a little biased because I cover him on a day-to-day basis.
No, he probably is.
Like, I think he's been the best coach in the NBA this season. I think he is the best coach in the NBA. I think what he is able to do, getting the most out of every player on the roster. Like, you even look at some of the guys who have left Boston, right? Like, it's kind of like when the guys started leaving Miami, like, oh, they didn't really turn into much.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like the Celtics, and this is Brad Stevens too, they know how to sell high on players. Like, you look at all these guys leave Boston and now they're either hurt or they're not playing as well and all this stuff happening. And everyone's like, oh, don't trade with Boston. Maybe you just go play in Boston because they're really good at getting the most out of you. Like, I don't know what you want. So like, I think, and Joe Mazzulla would be the first to tell you, like, this is not just him. It is the entire coaching staff. Like, I could go down the whole list. It would take too long, but their player development team is incredible. Like, you've got, all these guys watching film with players before the game. Like, this was in the story I wrote too. Every single day, they put film on an hour and 10 minutes before the game in the locker room. They'll watch film. They'll put the last game the team they're played on the TV. They'll watch film with the players. They have player development guys working every single day. The whole coaching staff has done a phenomenal job. And so Joe Mazzulla, I guarantee you this is what is going to happen. I'll tell you here first, and when you hear it, you'll think of this. Joe Mazzulla, if and when he does win coach of the year, is going to sit up there and say, it should be staff of the year. It should be coach of the year. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be his reaction. He's not going to care. He's going to say that because that's what he said when he won coach of the month 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So I think he deserves a ton of credit. I think he is the coach of the year. I think what he has done with this basketball team, the culture he's instilled in the Celtics organization is unbelievable. And he's still, even with all the credit, doesn't get enough credit for it. But he's going to be the first to tell you it is staff of the year.
I wish we had him in Philly. I'll tell you that right now. I wish we had him in Philly for sure. But, and there's another player I wish was in Philly, and this team probably could have had him, at some point, of course, and that's Jayson Tatum. Yes, he had mentioned earlier, as everybody knows, the Achilles injury that was just so damning to his career and just where he, may end up going as well. Such an amazing basketball player. He's trying to get back into form now as he's coming back from that injury. So I think what's going to be interesting moving forward, and I think in his first game, would he score 15 points like a few nights ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Like it was kind of rough out of the gate and probably should have been. I mean, he's been recovering from a ruptured Achilles. He's not going to be back to Jayson Tatum 100%. So I think folks need to realize that. But I do wonder how Joe Mazzulla really does integrate him in this lineup that's been so successful this season, a lineup that's really found a lot of chemistry with the development you've talked about already. How does Mazzulla kind of balance all of this out here?
Yeah, I think I made a video about this a little bit after the first game. I think you just go from having one Jalen Brown to two. And obviously, that's not really a
Yeah.
fair way of looking at it because they're very different players. But the whole reason Jalen Brown is so good is because not only can he score in isolation, but he sucks in the defense because they send multiple bodies at him. That's what Jayson Tatum does. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if he's shooting. He shot 2 of 10 in the first half from 3 against the Spurs. He is taking some bad threes, objectively. Like what are
Yeah.
you doing threes? And he opened the third quarter, and Victor Wembanyama bit on a pump fake. He drove to the rim and scored. Right? Like people guard him because he's Jayson Tatum, not because he's having a rough shooting night. And so having two guys who can have that level of gravity is going to do so much for the Celtics offense that I think he's going to be able to play off Jalen Brown's gravity. Jalen Brown's going to be able to play off his gravity. And now with this, 50 plus games of Jalen Brown being able to be the number one option, that he is so much better at reacting to players double teaming and reacting to teams throwing extra pressure at him that Jayson Tatum has been good at for a few years now because he's gotten used to it. That the Celtics now have two guys who are really, really good at that. And
Yeah.
so I think you're like inevitably there are going to be some games where Jayson Tatum takes some silly shots. He's gonna be trying to get back in a rhythm here. He's going to, trying to get his legs under him, taking a few of these shots. He took a one-legged floater three last night against the Spurs early in the shot clock. We don't got to talk about that shot specifically, but I think you're going to see a little bit of leeway, a little bit of a leash. Like, let's let Jayson Tatum try to find Jayson Tatum. But at the same time, like you saw early in the Spurs game before Jalen got ejected, it was Jayson doesn't have it. Okay, we're going to go back to Jalen ball. And
Yeah.
Jayson hit the
Yeah.
bench because he's on a minutes restriction anyways. And then they just played the way they've been playing all season. So I think you're going to see a little bit of leeway for Jayson Tatum to sort of get in the rhythm, get in the flow of things. But when they're on the court together, it's just you have two guys who defend. Like the Mavs game, Cooper Flag guarded Jayson Tatum.
Yeah.
Like immediately, that is the best player on the other team, the best defender guarding Jayson Tatum, who, if he's not in the play, that means Cooper Flag's out of the play, and that's a win anyway.
Yep.
So I think
There you go.
like that.
There you go. All right. Again, folks, we are talking to Jack Simone, fantastic beat writer for the Boston Celtics, and we're going to have more coming your way. We're going to take a break. But before that, again, let everybody know where they can find you online and where they can follow you there, Jack.
Yeah, all my written work is bostonsportsjournal.com. And then all my videos and stuff, which I just did a new one today on why the Celtics let Wemby take 15 threes, is on my YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter and Instagram, which is just Jack Simone NBA. So yeah, appreciate it.
All right. Very good. Very good. We're going to take a break, folks. When we get back, we got more Celtics talk coming your way. All right, we are back, and now I'd like to get into a category, some nicknames here. I do this every now and again with some guests, especially on our opposition territory shows, as we're really trying to hone in on certain players on any team's roster that are fitting within these categories and these nicknames here. So give you a category here, Jack, and if you can give me a brief explanation as to why you picked that player for this particular nickname and category. So first, the comeback kid. Who on this Boston Celtics team do you think is the comeback kid at this point?
I feel like this is a little bit of a layup.
Okay.
Jayson Tatum coming back from his
All right.
It's a little bit of a comeback.
Little obvious. Okay.
So I guess I'll just go with the pigeonholed answer of Jayson Tatum. I mean,
All
look,
right.
like what he has been able to do is just super cool. Like seeing anybody come back from an injury of that magnitude
Yeah.
is super, super impressive. So I'll give him that credit, and I'll leave it there. I guess that's a pretty obvious one.
There you go. All right. Well, let's do this next one. Who is the player on this roster who needs to bounce back? Who's that player for you?
Right now, I think it's a little bit of Jordan Walsh or maybe Nikola Vucevic. I'll
Okay.
explain for each of them, but Jordan Walsh is kind of out of the rotation right now. Earlier in the season, it looked like, oh my God, Celtics have this elite player. He's like 21 years old. He's an incredible defender. And he slowly, as the games have gone on, he's faded out a little bit. He's not really playing as much. Maybe a little bit of the fouls he was committing in his first and second years are coming back up. Maybe he's, not as in tune defensively. He's a little bit more erratic, and 3-point shots not falling quite the same rate. He's driving like it feels like he needs another chance to settle in and get back to the ball he was playing in like November, December, because right now it feels like he's slipping. And then as for Nikola Vucevic, he's out right now. He broke his finger. He's gonna be out for about a month. So in that sense, literally bouncing back. However, it also felt like in the first few games of his Celtics tenure, there were some ups and downs. He's not quite in tune with what they want to do on each end. He's you're kind of diverging from the Celtics' normal style of offense to get him these post-ups, which sometimes it works, sometimes they don't. So I would like to see him be a little bit more in the flow of things with the Celtics, although it was early since the trade anyway. So he's got to take some time.
All right, very good. Next nickname here in categories, the rising star on this team. I
Mhm.
think there's a couple to a
Yeah.
few after
I
watching this team this season. Who's this player for you?
I could go in a few different directions.
Yeah.
I'll give Jalen an honorable mention because I mean, going from All-Star to MVP caliber player is huge. So credit to him. Peyton Pritchard's been awesome this season too, but this has to be Nimish Queta for me. I
Yeah.
mean, you
Yeah.
talk about a guy who barely played last season. He wasn't in the rotation. He got spot minutes. He wasn't really very good. I did not expect this from Nimish Queta. I'll be the first one to admit how wrong I was. I thought this was going to be a failed experiment. I did not was not confident in Nimish Queta's ability to do this. He like I said top 15 earlier, he might be bordering on a top 10 center in the NBA. Like
Oh
that's the impact he
man.
has on both ends of the court.
Yeah.
Like he is unbelievable. Like the defensive numbers, he's one of the best defenders, rim protectors in the league. He runs the pick and roll super well. He can set a great screen. Like he is just rock solid. Like the Celtics went from, oh my God, what are they going to do after Al Horford to he might be the center of the next 5 years for them.
I cannot believe this light switch just happened to go off. I mean, and again, is it Missoula and the coaching staff here?
Uh,
Like, it makes me wonder that it probably has to be.
the Kings let him go. The Kings
I
let him walk.
know.
Like, and
Yes.
now the Celtics saw something and they developed him and they worked and they worked and they worked and now he's here. So credit to
Incredible.
him. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. All right, last category and nickname here, the dark horse MVP. Not any obvious, MVP, but who would the dark horse MVP on this team be at
Mhm.
this point in the season?
Yeah. Jalen would be the obvious pick. I have two names coming to mind, and I think they both deserve a little bit of credit. So I'll give the honorable mention spot to Derek White.
Okay.
People are going to look at the shooting splits and say, oh my God, he's having a bad season. If Victor Wembanyama plays less than 65 games, Derek White's the defensive player of the year. Like
Yeah.
he's been that good on the defensive end. Everything the Celtics do on defense revolves around Derek White flying around, helping off the ball, helping from the corner, guarding good players, guarding bad players, and helping. Like he's been incredible. And then in the pick and roll as a playmaker, he's been unbelievable, calming the Celtics offense down. So there's a reason he's one of the like I think he's like top 10 in overall estimated plus minus. Like all the advanced stats think he's one of the best players in the league. Kenny Atkinson called him a top 5 player. And you can laugh all you want. If an NBA head coach is calling a player a top 5 player, they're probably
Yeah.
pretty good. So
Right.
credit to him. But if you want to talk about true dark horse guys no one's are paying attention to,
Yep.
Baylor Shireman has
Ooh.
been unbelievable for the Celtics team. And it took him a while to get into the zone, right? Early in the season, Josh Minot went through a period where he was playing a lot. He obviously got traded. Jordan Walsh went through a period where he was starting a lot. But these last few months, Baylor Shireman has been starting almost every night before Jayson Tatum came back. And even last night against the Spurs, he played 35-ish minutes, right? He played some of the most minutes on the team. Baylor Shireman is an elite defensive rebounder, which is helping the Celtics solve that biggest issue. He is a good 3-point shooter. He's a little bit streaky, but they go down. He is one of the best wing defenders they have on the team. He
Yeah.
guards the best players on the floor. In the first game against the Spurs, he guarded Wemby in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like he just checks whoever. And he can put the ball on the floor, right? Like he can hit some floaters. He had a hook shot against the Cavs. He can just finish in the lane. He can make plays. He is just really good. Like there's not really a part of his game where you look at and say, "Oh, he's not great." Like he's just kind of bad. He is a solid basketball player, and most importantly, he always just makes the winning play. So he deserves a ton of credit for what he was able to do pre Jason Tatum injury and even post Tatum injury or post Tatum return, I should say. Like he's still a huge part of this rotation.
He's gonna be. He's gonna be for the latter part of this season as well. So, buddy, before I let you go, a couple more topics, and I'm coming from this at a place where I guess maybe I'm like grasping at straws here because we know that not every single NBA team is perfect. Although there's some really damn good teams playing some really good ball right now. Celtics, of course, being one of them. But what is the one thing that concerns you most about this Celtics team as the season persists here? As you're going down the stretch.
Mhm.
What's that one thing that really does concern you?
I mean, one of the answers that popped to mind is they playing against physicality. They're not great when teams like really pressure them, really, force them to work really hard on both ends of the court. But that's just the product of playing good teams, I think. I think the real thing to get around is this year isn't last year's Celtics team, right? Like you look
Right.
at last year's Celtics team through a lens of this is the best team in the league. They should beat everybody. this Celtics team is not the best team in the NBA, right? Like the Pistons are better, the Spurs are better, the Thunder are better. They have been all season. A couple other teams you could probably throw in there too. But like this Celtics team is really good and they can beat any team in a playoff series. But that physicality piece I talked to you about, there's a reason the Pistons, Spurs, and Thunder are the best teams in the league. They play with a lot of physicality and they really bully you. Jaylen Brown got ejected against the Spurs because he got pushed out of bounds and no one called it, right? You can't call every hand check, and these guys hand check every possession, right? Like,
Right.
so it's really hard to play against. That's not a shot at the other teams. It's just the reality of how good they are and how they built their defense. And the Celtics aren't great at going up against that pressure. I think having Jayson Tatum back will help, but for the most part this season, Peyton Pritchard's a little bit smaller, so he gets bullied by, these large physical players, even though he's one of the best ISO scorers in the league. Derek White's a little bit on the scrawnier side, and Jaylen Brown is so physical that he doesn't get moved, quote unquote, by the contact, so he doesn't get as many of the calls. So I think that's one thing to look out for, and there's a reason that the best teams in the league are so good at it.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we're closing out here, the Celtics, of course, they're going to continue to be contenders in the Eastern Conference. But I'm wondering which teams towards the top of the conference do you really fear the most? And which teams do you think really don't pose a threat and may actually end up fizzling out down the stretch? What are your thoughts here?
I think the Pistons are the best team in the East. I think they can beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. Absolutely. They're the only team I look at and say, I think the Celtics would not be favored against this team. Like, I don't think the Celtics would be favored in a series against the Pistons. Maybe the books would have them just because Jayson Tatum was back, but I think the Pistons would probably be the better team overall. Yep. Especially with the Tatum coming back. Maybe talk to me in a month, and if he's better, we'll see. But I think the Knicks are really, really good as well. They played the Celtics well this year. They have another year of experience under their belts as a team. They added some nice players. I think they're a good team. I think that would be a great series. I think the Cavs with Harden are fine. I'm not. Yeah,
I think they're one of the fizzled out. Honestly, that's what I think. I think they're one of the teams that are going to fizzle.
I think the only reason I don't go fully in on that is because Donovan Mitchell is just if you look at the leaders against points against the Celtics, he's second behind Michael Jordan. So it's what are you gonna do? But you talk about James Harden in the playoffs, Evan Mobley in the playoffs, it's just I don't know. And then everybody else in the East, I don't know. The Sixers played the Celtics really well earlier in the season. So if you asked me a little while ago, the Celtics are a different team now, though. I don't know about the Raptors. I mean, as silly as it sounds, the Hornets are really good. The Hornets are really scary right now. I know. They just beat the Celtics by 30.
It's a fun storyline. It's a fun NBA storyline.
I'd probably go Pistons, then Knicks, and then a pretty big gap next.
All right. Sounds good. Well, buddy, it was great to talk to you, man. I love jumping on with you. Appreciate you taking the time. Again, let everybody know where they can find you on the interwebs out there.
Yeah, all my written work, including that story I was talking about, the film session story, you can find it on Boston Sports Journal, bostonsportsjournal.com. And then if you want to see any of the videos, like I said, I just did one on the Celtics letting 1B shoot 15 threes. I did one on Tatum's return. You can check that out on my YouTube, which is just my name, or Jack Simone NBA. Jack Simone NBA is the handle on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. But yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Jeff.
You got it, buddy. Come back, join us down the road. I'd love to have you.
Yes, sir. Anytime.